prostitution, it has to be a public place. And if you suspected that he is involved in prostitution, you take him into a private place and conduct search. And if you found in his possession that some items such as condoms, some needles, then you can arrest without a warrant for prostitution. That's all, sir.
Anything else from anyone? Any other division who wants to contribute? Please, this is a very interactive session. If you do not contribute or do not talk, you will not learn. So if you have something in mind, please do speak it up. All the other divisions, Singatoka, please contribute.
Repeat that question. Hey! So can you please repeat the question?
The question is, you are a unit NCO. How will you guide your men or the new OJT on what is your authority or the procedure on if you suspect someone who is loitering for the purpose of prostitution? What is your authority and the procedure?
Fine, okay. Is it okay? Orto natin. Dito lagi. So in prostitution, we should see the stage of case in conduct of having kind of knowledge.
Thank you very much, Singatoka. If you look at on your screen now, loitering or soliciting for the purpose of prostitution, section 231, 1, A, B, C, D, E, F. I'll just go through that shortly. Loitering or soliciting for the purpose of prostitution is a person who loiters in a public place for the purpose of offering himself or herself for sex in return for payment of any nature. Please be reminded, this one can not only be females too. There are some very professional males too who go for the purpose of prostitution. You will never know. So please bear in mind, you cannot judge a book by its cover. There is not only females who are standing on the road, there are also males who are standing on the road. B, any person who solicits, offer, asks for immoral purpose, not following principles of right or wrong in any public place. This basically says that if he or she approaches you in a way which is very wrong or offers or asks you, an example is just on your screen. If you look at this photo, dressing, they are standing in a very inappropriate way. They are waiting for someone, probably for their client, or in a dark street, dark alley where they're not supposed to be there at that time. Moving on. Any person who seeks the service of prostitute in a public place, everyone knows that. Any person who uses the services of prostitute in a public place. So anyone who seeks and anyone who uses, there are two different things. Anyone who seeks is the person who is looking for a prostitute. Anyone who uses is the person who has already completed the using of services. E, any person who makes arrangements with a prostitute, offering the service of a prostitute or using his or her services by any communication whatsoever. That means if I am trying to look for someone to hook up, if I use my phone, either Viber, WhatsApp, or anything, in order to communicate to any prostitute, this section can be applied on that. I know it is very hard to prosecute these cases in court, but there is one case whereby in Lambasa, I believe it was convicted. I will get back to you on that. Moving on, any person who solicits, asks, or offer for immoral purpose by any means of communication, this is almost the same thing as on top, but the top one, which is subsection E, says that any person who makes an arrangement, and F is any person who solicits or asks or offer himself or herself. There should be a give and take between the prostitute and the client. Either way, any goods or services, the momentary value, or anything that has to be exchanged in order for carnal knowledge. Loitering for or soliciting for the purpose of prostitution, section 231, subsection 2. This part or this section gives the power as a police officer to arrest without warrant any person found in any public place who you reasonably suspect to be committing an offense under the provisions of this act. Just like our colleagues have mentioned from the training WD, that if you find condoms in place, I know that you will never find any receipt from the client's perspective, but if the client has given his or her statement that yes, this transaction between the prostitute and the client took place, then we can prosecute the case. Give you an example. Whilst you were on duty and found a prostitute with a purse with several condoms inside, waiting for the client at somewhere around Nararapred in Lotoka. But the main thing is we cannot still do anything because the person is just waiting for someone. He or she can just be waiting around for someone. But we have to look at things like the place he or she is waiting at. If it is dark, if the area is dark, what is he or she doing at that place and that time? Is it supposed to be there, or he or she is living at that place? You have to confirm the information of the prostitute. If you find someone talking in the due process of fixing the prostitute or in order to negotiate, if you find someone, you can ask him or her questions like, can you confirm the identification of this particular person? How long have you known this person? Do you have phone numbers? Or the very basic information you can ask if a person knows him or her is, where does this person stay? Do you know him or her personally? All these things can be small questions to be asked in order to rectify if this person personally knows the other person or the other party. On loitering or soliciting for the purpose of prostitution, section 231, subsection 3. In this section, it is the explanation or the meaning of public place. Under this category, as for loitering for the purpose of prostitution, we know that majority of them stand in a public place. So this section 2313 very particularly gives you what does a public place mean under this category or this section or this offense. This includes any doorway, any entrance of any premises abutting, adjoining, or bordering to any public way or any ground adjoining or which is open to any public place. Even example, two buildings are joining together and in between them is a public way. So if he or she is standing on a step or the small foyer area where you go inside, take 2 steps and then you climb the double-story building, some of them are also standing in there. So that is also includes into a public place if he or she. I believe if you go to Mark Street, these people who sell the street hawkers, they are always standing in this at the back of MH. So they always step inside the shop where they go up the double story. So if someone is standing there for the purpose of prostitution, he or she can be included in this, as this includes in a public place under this category. Moving on for suspicious premises. Suspicious premises, section 232, subsection A, subsection B. This section talks about issuing of warrants to search any suspicious premises. This, if you have received any information as if it is a brothel or been used as any place of harboring drugs or anything, we always need to have a warrant, which is issued by a magistrate. So this section talks about issuing warrant by a magistrate authorizing us police officers to enter and search and arrest such person therein. Please be reminded, any suspicious premises for the purpose of being used as a prostitution, you need a warrant issued by a magistrate. Warrant will be issued if it is made to appear to the magistrate by information on oath that any house or any part of a house is reasonably suspected to be used for the purpose of prostitution. If any person is residing in, just a moment, sorry. I'm very sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Eastern Division is having a bit of issues, so we'll have a 5 minutes break. We'll get ED online and we'll get back to suspicious premises. 5 minutes break, please. Thank you.
Haule, tamona ko, betem.
Going back onto the suspicious premises. So in this section, it is known that if you need to search a premises, sorry, Eastern Division, welcome back. Thank you, Madam Naka. Okay. Can you hear me? Please just wave. Right, thank you. Section 232, let me just grab you back your slides, if you can see. Yes, the slides have been shared. Section 232, subsection A, subsection B. This talks about you need a warrant issued by a magistrate. Moving on to section A, if a person is residing in or frequently comes to the house for the purpose of visiting, hanging around, spending time, and subsection A is living wholly in a part of earnings of a prostitute. Example, confirmed information received that there is a house at a particular place and neighborhood, have seen them every day, partners to be seen. So the main thing there is, how will we prove? So we have to understand that these small questions will accumulate. That's where Intel comes in. You can have, what do you call this, ad hoc surveillance. Someone can just be passing around and give you information that, okay, this particular vehicle is parked there. You can write one notebook entry or diary entry. Okay, this particular time that vehicle was parked there. On the next second, third hour, another vehicle was parked there. And then you can also do your investigation on the vehicle. Okay, just run through LTA plate check, who this vehicle belongs to, where this person is staying, what is his job. And all these small details need to be accumulated and be filed in order for a successful prosecution, so that you can get a person and charge this particular person. So it is very important to know on the questioning technique, or what questions or what details you should look at in order for these cases that are very hard to be charged. I know there are majority people sitting in their particular stations listening to these Skype stations. They know some suspicious premises who are operating as brothel. But why can't we do anything on this? It is because we do not know the technique or the way of collecting or gathering information on this particular suspicious premises. And then once we have gathered this information, we have to go and take oath in front of a magistrate with reasonable information that we have gathered on black and white to get a warrant issued. And then subsection E, which is any person who frequently comes to the house, visiting, hanging out, spending time, and is living wholly or in a part of a earnings of a prostitute. Subsection B is exercising control, direction, or influence, effect, impact, inspire, encourage, empower, or over the movements of a prostitute. Basically, who is a pimp? This may be someone who manages the services of prostitution, arranges for clients to the prostitute, or makes any cut on behalf of the other parties. This is mostly shown in movies, whereby we know that this offense takes place. But just like I've mentioned before, we do not know the technique or the way of gathering information in order to go and get a warrant issued by a magistrate. Moving on, if we can have Singatoka Police Station, the question was on brothel, procedures to follow when you receive information that there is a brothel in your IOR. You as the unit IC, what will you brief your man, or what will you advise him or her? Singatoka PS, please, you can go ahead now.
Our question was the procedures to follow and receiving information about brothels. So the first step we do is to write down report, record statement, inform the CO or SO, fill in a search warrant and execute them.
Thank you very much, Singatoka. Any other Skype division who wants to contribute? Lemmy, please contribute something. Thank you very much. Since no one is looking forward to contribute, we'll just carry on. Brothel section 233, subsection A, B, and C. Brothel. What is a brothel? A brothel is a place where prostitution takes place. A place where prostitutes may engage in for hire. A place they might be staying somewhere. A place they might be residing or not even residing, but be available for communication. We here in Suva, we have noticed the majority of the motels. I personally have noticed one of the motels that is just behind CID HQ. The problem with these motels or brothels is it is very hard to prosecute because the evidence in that is very hard to gather. So let's continue with brothel. This section talks about a person who commits a summary offense if he or she keeps, manages, acts, or assists in the management of a brothel, being a tenant, occupier of any premises, knowingly permits such premises or be any part of it to be used as a brothel or habitual prostitution. So I is talking about any person who manages, acts, assists in the management of brothel. Let me take you through one of a case study. Right, I believe everyone can see my screen that is being shared at this very moment. That is a criminal appeal case number HAA 61 of 2017. It is with Ted Singh Chang, who is the appellant versus the state. Please, if you have time, go through quickly. Okay, it's okay. I'll just download it and put it up on Moodle now so that everyone can have access to it. Just give me one moment. So the number, the file number is 935.pdf. Please, if you can just log into your Moodle, you'll be able to see that case law. That is in Lotoka. You can, in your own free time, you can go through the case and understand how this person was convicted under this offense. There are, I believe there are also some other cases whereby we had this Fijian lady. She was operating her house as a brothel. She was charged. Just give me one moment. If you can see your screen right now, this is a news on the Fiji Sun online, which was released on 21st August of 2020. It says, "A look at our red light district, how street workers, massage parlor workers operate." This information is from a local prostitute himself or herself. It is clearly stated here. Local prostitute tells, from there we can catch a taxi and go to a hotel for an hour. Some clients come in their cars, which is better. It's just $50 a pop. These are some of the information that is a Fiji Sun did a survey on. If you can just read clearly some of the elements they have covered. Her lips are painted cherry red and her short black dress reaches above her knees. She barely looks a day older than 17, but insists she is 17. She is 20. Her name is Vika and she's from Western Division. Vika is not afraid to admit that she's a sex worker. On a closer look, the black eye she is carrying becomes visible. So there are some people who are also forced into prostitution. It's just because they cannot support their family. And that is the reason some of them tend to take this trend on becoming a prostitute. There is some other, there is another case I know here in Suva. A person was charged for dealing with a juvenile as a prostitute. She was dealing with this juvenile who was under 17. And she was charged. The case is still going on. I'll get you more information on that later. Let's continue. Going back to section 233, subsection B, being a tenant, occupier of any premises and knowingly permits such premises or any part of it to be used as a brothel or habitual prostitute. Please be reminded, if you are renting with someone, you are adjoining in the same house but not staying in the same room, but you are under the same roof, and you know that this particular house owner, the tenant or the occupier of the premises is using that particular building or house for the purpose of prostitution, please, you can also be involved in this. You can be charged for this because you, in your knowledge, know that this particular person does not belong to this house, and people from all different kinds come and visit this particular girl or boy. If he or she is your neighbor, the questions that I might ask you, how long have you known your neighbor? Do you visit your neighbor? How often do you see the people coming at her places or his place? At what time do they come? What vehicles do they come in? What do they usually wear? Do they wear luxurious things? Do they have expensive watches, expensive shoes? All these things, very small details, accumulate to very big offenses. Section C, being a person who leased out or a landlord of any premises or agent of such lets the said premises or have the knowledge that the said premises is to be used for the brothel, or a willing party to continue to use such premises as a brothel. Please, if you're a landlord and you are unsure of your tenant, please do a little bit of background check that if your tenant is a good person, he or she might be also taken to task if he or she is involved in doing prostitution or using your house as prostitution. This is very prevalent in India, I believe. I just saw one movie lately. This particular group of boys, they do private gambling. So they do not operate from any other place. They just go to one new city or town. They'll go, and if the landlord is asking for the rent of 500, they'll pay them 1,500 for 1 month. And they'll use that house or that premises for the purpose of gambling on large amounts. Just 1 month, they'll just move in, they gamble for 1 month, they leave the house and they go away. So it's very hard to catch this kind of people. And if you're a landlord, you should be very well informed of the particular details of the tenant who is staying. Photocopy some of the ID cards. A very important way to identify a person is just using his or her ID card. Any ID card that has a photo ID. Okay, moving on. Offences endangering life and health. Witchcraft and sorcery. I believe this question is for Reki. What are some of the elements of the offense of witchcraft? And an example. Nandi, please, if you can continue. Sorry, Reki, if you can please continue.
Thank you, sir. The question is, what are some of the elements of witchcraft? It can be witnesses of 2 or more. That witnesses the offense, time and place, or when the offense took place. For example, in the middle of the night, also the apparatus used. Can be bowls, tarwa or cover bowl, and one can be mixed. And it can cause fear, supernatural needs, annoyance, injury to other person or in mind. And it is always being practiced in isolated place. Dakar.
Thank you very much, Reki. Very well explained. Very well explained. I believe you have covered majority of the part that I was supposed to already elaborate. So let me take you to witchcraft. Witchcraft and sorcery, section 263, subsection A and subsection B. Okay. A person commits a summary offense if he or she is responsible for being the cause of any supernatural means, fear, annoyance, or injury to another person in mind, in person, or a person's property. Give you an example. Pretends to exercise or who practices, whether on an isolated occasion or otherwise, witchcraft or sorcery. Example, Tom was well known for practicing witchcraft. One day he mixed the yangona and told Peter that someone has planted something in your backyard. The reason you are falling sick often. He can reverse the spell by giving him one rooster, one beeston, and $200 cash. So I believe Nandi PS. Nandi PS. Nandi PS, please respond.
Sir.
Okay. Do you have any idea about the case from Nosuri Highland?
Yes, sir.
Please, can you elaborate that case in regards to witchcraft and sorcery? I know the person is charged on murder, but can you just please elaborate more on the witchcraft part?
Sir, sorry, none of us took part in the investigation.
So you from the same area, you should know about that case. You should be very inquisitive to know what is this case about.
Sir,
How
we
does it work?
stories about it, but we do not real truth behind it.
You just listening the stories. So stories is here told, my friend. Should not be here told, eh? Oh yes, evidence is not admissible. Okay, let me take you to a screen share where there was this particular gentleman charged in Fiji. So if you look at your screen now, on the screen share, discovering Fiji, wizards and black magic in old Fiji. So in Fiji, we have this black magic and the witchcraft and sorcery from a very olden time. So there was this law student, 51 years old, who was charged with witchcraft. 51-year-old, a 15-year-old law student of the University of Fiji was produced in the Lautoka Magistrates Court on 6th April, charged with witchcraft. The accused Muhammad Sharif appeared before court, Magistrate Bandula, and was represented by his defense lawyer Onesi Balelevuka. He was charged with 1 count of witchcraft and sorcery. The court heard between that March 12 and March 15, 2018, the accused allegedly practiced witchcraft on a lady pretending to kiwaha and obtaining cash amounting to $740. The second count of indecent assault, the accused alleged that the same assaulted the same lady by fondling and squeezing her breast. I believe they just a moment. Okay. Okay. There's another post by Fiji-san. Practicing witchcraft is against the law. This was confirmed by Northern Division Police Commander Epra Mawanga back then. Police will only probe if there is official report on witchcraft. So moving back to our slides, let me just elaborate more. You know, I believe some of our Fijian brothers sitting here, they know this sing in Hindi, eh? When they always go to these people called Ojha. There's this dialogue called Baba Mange Dut Piye. There's this slang they always use. So let me take you back to the witchcraft, whereby in order to charge someone, we need witnesses. First, we need written statements. We need to go and search the place for any equipments or instruments that was used in order to link the offense to the offender and the nexus in between. We can also get CSI in order to give their expert opinion. We can also have photographs for your information. The case from Nosori Highland, this person initially took the family for witchcraft on that hill on top, but the situation turned vice versa. The only way this person was convicted, that case is convicted purely on circumstantial evidence. There is no direct evidence in that case. If you read through Peckley on that case law, that person is convicted on all 54 circumstantial evidences. There is no direct evidence against that person. The only direct evidence is that CSI has found his fingerprints on the instruments or the equipments that was used for witchcraft at that location. Second thing, they have found a picture on the victim's phone when she took a selfie at the place where they were murdered. In the interview, the suspect told that he was not at that particular place where they were murdered. But when we went through the phone records, we came to know that there is a photo taken by the victim is showing that the accused person is standing where they were murdered. So I believe it is clear. Nendi, now you have the information?
Yosaka Vinavalevu.
Thank you. The coordinator has requested to give you a break. He's saying that I'm very boring. So please, I'll give you 5 minutes break and we'll get back to the class. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Andy, brief my
So I believe everyone is back on their seats. Just to touch upon witchcraft and sorcery. It was saying that the cause of any supernatural means fear, annoyance, or injury to another person in mind. I give you another example. If you go to some of the Fijian brothers' houses, you'll always see these chilies and the lemon hanging over on top and all these things. That one, we cannot classify it as witchcraft or sorcery because it is not causing fear to anyone, but it can cause annoyance to some people. I believe there was another case somewhere in Nindi in Sambeto, whereby this particular person was charged. He was caught naked trying to dig up one grave in one of the cemeteries. This is a case about 2 years ago. He was caught naked running in the cemetery, and this gang from the village, they butaraki this fella. He was charged with witchcraft and sorcery. Also, if there was this case from somewhere I was discussing with the first cohort, they informed me that someone placed a human skull on their fence. The fence is on their side. The fence belongs to the neighbor. The fence belongs to the neighbor, but the head is facing to the other neighbor. So the other neighbor was feeling threatened, and the party who was putting the human skull was charged for witchcraft and sorcery. The reason why he or she was charged is because a human skull is not natural for display. We do not stay in Brazil or somewhere where a human skull is just displayed naturally everywhere. So this person was, it was a instrument that was used to create fear and annoyance in a person's mind or to create threat. Seth will now give the floor to Ba Police Station to elaborate more on the fail to supply of necessities. What is our police procedure on that? Ba PS, please go ahead. Ba Police Station.
Can you hear from Ba Police Station, Kaula?
Yes, we're listening to you 5-5 and loud and clear.
Nawalehu. Elaborating on failure to supply necessities. Section 264. A person commits a summary offense if he or she being charged with the duty of providing for another necessities of life without lawful excuse fail to do so, whereby the life of that other person or is likely to be endangered, or his or her health is or likely to be permanently injured. For example of this one is our prisoners in the cell block. One of the prisoners is complaining of headache or stomach ache, and we as police officers, we fail to take him to the hospital, and later on he has some kind of problems or other things examined by the doctor. That is one example. Another one is together with the prisoner, the beddings, mattress, and other things. If we do not supply those things to them, as the provider, then we are likely to be charged for failure to supply necessities. Naka.
Thank you very much, Ba PS. Very well explained. Any other station or division who wishes to contribute to this? Okay, the first example was given by Ba Police Station on our prisoners. We have a duty of care and responsibility to look after the prisoners. That's our job. Okay. if a prisoner passes away or dies in our cell or in our custody, what is the very next step you will do? Can anyone explain to me? What is the next procedure? What will we follow? What will we do? Anyone from the station?
So you inform your superiors.
Okay. See, you are doing CQC. So in the very next, I would say months, some of you will be leading NCOs, acting couples. You should know what is the very next procedure. Eh? These are very small and simple things. You should update your notebook, first thing. Second thing, you should inform your superiors. Fourth, what is it? Visit the scene. And there are so many other things that is to be done. I'll give you one example. There was this prisoner who passed away in the custody of prison officers. So the procedure of the prison officers is they have to inform the police officers, and the police officers will do all the necessary procedures from there. So we have to inform the magistrate. The magistrate is the only person who will visit the scene. And then we can remove the body from there. He's the first person who will visit the scene with the accompany of your CO and ISP crime and all the other persons. Okay. The second example, what was the second example, Ba? Ba PS, your second example? Okay, let me talk about procedures since no one is responding. Firstly, failure to supply necessities, like Ba has explained, that is the person is lawfully in charge of a person, set, but without lawful excuse fails to provide the necessities. Example, if I'm looking after my old parent and I'm supposed to give him or her a medication at a particular time and I failed to give a medication because I was drunk and I was sleeping, that is my problem. I'll be charged for failure to supply necessities. That was my responsibility and I neglected on my part. So there, the fault element comes on neglect. So the very first thing, the police procedure is, once you receive a report, you write down the report, and then you will visit the scene, and then we'll do our initial investigation on, was I the only person present with that person who passed away? We'll have to obtain statements, we'll have post-mortem reports, we'll have the doctor's statement, we'll have medical history. And there is so many tiny bits and pieces that we have to collect together. But there are some things that we'll ask in the interview that will define the duty of care of a person. This is very important. We have to prove the duty of care that I was, or that particular person was in charge with a duty of care of the person who passed away. This is the most important part we have to prove. So if I am staying with my dad is single, I'm also single, and there's only two of us staying in the house, I am solely responsible for him. So the duty of care or the burden lies on me to look after him. And if I was drunk and he passed away, I'll be charged with failure to supply necessities. Some other examples are parents failing to supply basic necessities like food, clothing, shelter. There is a case on Peckley you can go and do your research on. It's State versus Smith. Moving on, use of excess of force. Section 266. Please, PSRU, if you can elaborate more on this. PSRU, if you are listening in.
participants of various divisions. We PSRU we were tasked to define excess force and examples. Any person authorized by law or by consent of the person injured by him or her to use force is criminally responsible for any excess according to the nature and quality of the act which constitute to the excess. In simple definition, sir, a force being applied to a person by a person authorized by law, which is excessive or more than necessary. Examples that we've came up with: a police officer assaulting a suspect which has been cuffed already, or a person utter offensive words to a police officer and the police officer responds by physically assaulting the person. That's how I live, sir.
Thank you, PSRU. Setup looks very nice. Classroom looks very beautiful. Okay, let me just elaborate a bit more on excess of force. I believe in the station level we have gone through where people are getting assaulted, and we just stand and see. Please, if you are not part of the investigation or you're not supposed to be in that room, do not stay where a person is being assaulted. Try to stop the other police officer, if not, just leave from there. Because if tomorrow that particular person goes to the court and tells, whilst I was being assaulted by this police officer, that police officer standing there, he was watching me. And you will have to become one witness in that case. Be mindful on what you see. Please, do not use excess force. Just our colleague from PSRU has explained the force as an example of a person is cuffed and we are still assaulting him. Lastly, I believe the last question was to FPA participants. What is your duty as a CO or crime couple? What will you tell your IO or inform your IO in order to have a successful prosecution for the loitering or soliciting for the purpose of prostitution? Someone from FPA, please. I believe there are more than 200 participants sitting in the gym, and no one is confident enough to come and answer that question. Someone can please answer the question, or I'll just give a name from here.
Thank you, sir.
Our training WD, the question is for FPA. Please just hold on. Okay, one name is here, Eleni Bolalailai. From prosecution, you are required to answer this question. Coming from the experience and the background, please answer these questions. Sorry, coming from Valalevo Police Station. My apologies. Mayeleni. I believe Eleni is not being able to answer this question. Requesting any other participant from FPA?
So, one Kere, can you just repeat your question, please?
My question is, if you're a crime officer, will you inform your investigating officer? Oh, sorry, you are a crime couple. Correction, you're a crime couple. And what will you inform your investigating officer to do or to follow, or what instruction will you give to him or her to follow for a successful prosecution for the purpose, for the offense of loitering or soliciting for the purpose of prostitution? Very simple.
So, the first step I would do is to
Go on, Nandi. I believe you're on the right track.
first step I would first instruction I would do, I would tell the IO to obtain witnesses statements to prove that the place is beyond reasonable doubt that the place is a brothel.
You are going on the correct path. You have to get witnesses statements in order to prove that there is been loitering or soliciting for the purpose of prostitution. What next after you will get your statements?
I would like to assist with that.
Please go ahead.
Record statement of witnesses, if any, if not, the statement of the arresting officer to get the timing of the offense, of what time in odd hours. Seize the property of that person. For example, if that Kandu is wearing the wig and other things, you seize the properties, photograph that. Maybe the prostitute will have the condom, sex tools and other things. You seize all those things as an exhibit, and that will is that that will take it into prosecution for a successful prosecution. That's all, Kobula.
Thank you very much, Ba. PS, but you know, in order to provide loitering, Suchi, so to reach the purpose, how will we define loitering? Eh? The first thing is loitering or soliciting. So loitering is if you are on beat patrol and you see this particular person at a time where he or she is not supposed to be standing at the dark street here or there, you want the person, update your notebook first. After around 1 or 1.5 hours of beat, you see that particular person, same person on the same street, still standing there. You question this particular person again. What is he or she doing there? What is the intention he or she is standing there for? Try to get information from that. Update your notebook. Want to leave the place immediately again. Third time, if you see him or her, please update your notebook again. On the third one, you can arrest that person for loitering. The part where the soliciting comes in, you can only prove soliciting for the purpose of prostitution if you have a witness who has gone with that particular prostitute, or the prostitute is in possession of any condom or sex toys, just like Ba has mentioned. Then you can go for soliciting for the purpose of prostitution. Your notebook there will give evidence in court that you warned this particular person 3 times, and upon warning, he or she did not leave the premises or the public place where he or she was standing. Second thing, if it is a special zone, example Namaka, the nightclubs are open from 5 to 5. Now I believe it is only till 1. The limit is only till 1 by Liquor Tribunal, but the other times it was open till 5. So in the special zone, if the particular person is telling you, I'm just waiting here for my friends, how long are you waiting for your friend? From what time you are waiting for your friend? You can wait for your friend in front of the nightclub. Why are you standing in this corner of the street, in a dark place? All these small things matter. All these details, you have to put it in your notebook with the observation report, the pink slip. This can give a successful prosecution in court. Plus, your technique of answering, asking some questions. We always work on the 5 wives and 1 husband. Please also try to use TEDs. Can you explain to me? Can you tell me? Can you show me? Can you describe? All these small things will give you a very big picture on when they inform you about something. I believe I have concluded my class. Is there any questions from any division? I am ready to answer your question. Please shoot your question to me.
No, sir.
I'm waiting for any question. Questions, please. At least 1 question from any division. My training WD, I believe you have a question. No questions. If you have no questions, I would like to share one of my personal experiences with you. I came across when I received a call from a senior officer. I was serving in Totongo back then. I was on afternoon patrol when I came across Angel Nightclub. Now the nightclub name has changed. I just saw yesterday when I went to town. These 2 ladies, they got off from a taxi just opposite where they are, the Angel Nightclub, where they are making the hot dog. Once they got off, these 2 girls, they were wearing see-through tops and they were wearing skirts, very short. When I saw them, they were, in my opinion, they were underage. So I turned my police vehicle. I did not have any female with me. We were 2 male officers. As soon as they got off the taxi, they crossed and they entered the nightclub. And I looked at my watch. It was still 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So my mind clicked, this is not correct. The very next thing I did, I went, I stood in front of the nightclub. I did not enter the premises. I knocked the door. It took a security guard opened the glass door, and I called the two ladies out. The very first thing I asked them, do you have any ID on you? These two ladies said no. The very next thing I said, come, hop with us in the vehicle and we'll go to the station to rectify. First of all, you are not supposed to be in a nightclub at this particular time because the nightclub is not open. And if you do not have any ID on you, you are not supposed to enter the nightclub. From there, I came to the police station. I made a diary entry that Constable 5024 Rahul brought in under arrest these two particular ladies, the names that they gave me, under the suspicion of they are a juvenile or minor and they are entering a nightclub at a particular time where the nightclub is not open. That's where I brought them under the suspicions ground.
Sir.
Yes. My Nindi, any question? Nindi, any question? Nindi, any question? It is not necessary that you always need a female officer whilst arresting, eh? But why we always tell you to do that is because for your safety, so that you do not get any allegation. Yes, Eastern Division, anything?
Sir, for Eastern Division, we have one question.
Yes, madam.
Can we, for loitering, how about during daytime?
During?
Daytime.
During daytime. That's what I'm asking you. I mean, sorry, that's what I'm informing you. You have to warn the particular person 3 times. See, judge's rule number 1 gives you the power and the authority of a police officer to question anyone at any time, at any place. So please use judge's rule number 1. You have the authority to question at anyone, any person at any time, at any place. If you as police officers, you know your powers, it will be very easy for you to know. If you do not know your powers of questioning and arresting, then what's the use? You're a police officer. These small things matters. It's not a matter of laughing. Everyone does not know everything. Eh? So it's good we ask. Sorry. So it is very important. To continue with my story, as soon as I made a diary entry and we started questioning. And on the station 9905, we received a call. My immediate NCO, who was the desk NCO that day, said, Rahul, you have one call. I asked who that person is. He said, it's my DPC. That time we used to have CO Totongo, not DPC. We now have DPC Totongo. Before we had CO Totongo. And this particular officer told me, hey, Rahul, you know what you are doing or no? I said, yes, sir, I know very well what am I doing. He said, why did you arrest these two? I said, sir, these two look juvenile. They do not have any IDs on them. They are entering the nightclub. And this particular officer indirectly threatened me that if you do not leave them, you'll be taken to task. I informed that senior officer, say, the call you just made to me now is also been entered in the station diary. So I've already informed you that I have already made our conversation official. And then he said, no, it's okay. I was just informing you in a very friendly way. That's what he said. That police officer is no longer serving in the force. He's retired. Be mindful. Senior officers will also threaten you. They'll use pressure tactics and leadership tactics to push you down. The main thing is your black and white. What you write in your notebook and make official entries. Immediately after that, got one WPC, took them home, got their IDs, confirmed one was under 18, one was over 18. So the one with over 18 was left. The one with under 18, she was taken by SOU unit, and they dealt with it, and then crime intel and other information flowed through. I believe those of you who have worked with me in Totongo, I believe this particular gentleman sitting in FP, he was sitting with me there that day in the vehicle when we arrested the two ladies. Any other question, Madam? Eastern Division. Also, the power of observation for police officers is very important. Questions, please.
No more questions.
Thank you. We'll be just waiting for our coordinator. He will brief you on the next course of action. Thank you.
Serumomo.
Okay, Vinaka, Mbula Vinaka took all CQC participants for second cohort, 1st of 2022. Welcome this afternoon. First of all, if some of you don't know me, it's better for me to introduce myself. I'm Inspector of Police, Waisea Ekanin Ronro. I've been working in this organization for 18 years. So this is my 4th year in the Fiji Police Academy. If you want to know more much about me, you may come to Academy and visit me personally into my office. Anyway, there's some information that need to be dished out to you in regards to your discipline, in the updating of your notebook, your uniform, and your police ID. In the inspection this morning, we are really pissed off with some of you, your appearance during the parade this morning. We hope in our parade from tomorrow, I hope this exercise must be done also in the respective division. Are you listening from this morning? For those of you with your notebook who are torn out or are old, please some request a divisional card to put in your request for us to arrange police ID. Once you come in for the third week, we are able to facilitate those police ID to respective candidates or participants of this CQC. And for you in campus, I have to remind you there's officers passing by and Madam Director and Commandant. I need to highlight this to you participants. You have to march from point A to point B, very simple and clear. And your chain of command through your dots. You don't message or text anybody in this coordinating team for the CQC. You refrain from this. In terms of enrollment into model platform, we'll start enroll some of you at 1800 hours this evening. If you have any queries, please do message the IT officer if need be. Okay, very important issue this morning. In regards to the Intel report and IB report, rumors that are going around that we are coming into general election now in the 14th of December. Let me make myself clear to you people, course participants you are listening today. There's a close of registration for all political parties that was done yesterday. Please, I warn you now, don't engage yourself in any political parties around Fiji or in any campaign through social media or any activities in regards to this political campaign by these political parties. I hope I'm clear to everyone. I'm listening this morning. If you are found in any place of political campaigning areas, you have to face the consequences. I hope I make myself clear. This is a reminder to you. You have to take it and you think about it before you do something which is totally out of the picture of this organization. Remain as a police officer and be neutral. Remain as a police officer and be neutral. We don't want to hear anybody criticizing any political party or any. We are here, we are working according to the government of the day. I make myself clear. We are working according to the government of the day. No two ways about it. I hope I'm clear from this end. It's a warning to the participant. It's not a threat, just play your part and do the right thing and no one is watching you. Okay, lastly to the dots, we do respect the accountability of your men. Those who are absent, please, the accountability of your men should reach the office of course manager before every 1500 hours in the afternoon. Naka, straight after this, you'll be having your lunch. Straight after this, after my address this morning, you'll be having your lunch. If you have any question or any queries in regards to your administration issue or anything regarding your meals, for maritime officers, do liaise with your DOTS, your training cadre. Straight after this, you will have your lunch. Return back to at 13:30. Prepare, come back in uniform, ready with your PT dress, or there will be a drill program with you at 1400 hours. I hope I'm clear. Please do acknowledge or thumbs up if you receive my message this afternoon. Okay, thank you. You enjoy your lunch now. Meet you at 1400 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You may go out for your lunch. Enjoy your lunch.
Never, sir. Touching.
Yeah.
Sir, ano to ko dito ba si Kaleb?
Mana sasamba untuk nak atau nung gabung-gabung?
Abete, Sebio. Oke, tu memang sekali level turun ah.
Ini tahu lah. Emosi lah emosi. Josis. Itu apa? Emosi tanpa.
Oke, lebih masing alim. Lagi.